What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So I'm gonna check out WrestleMania 25. Should have been a classic. This is a statement that I can definitely agree with. There were some good matches on there. Obviously, my favorite match is The Undertaker versus HBK. That goes down as one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time, and that match is an instant classic. And you would have thought that, having that match on the card, you would have had a lot more other matches that tried to come close to, how great that was. But no, that's not the case here. There were some missteps and miscues. Good stuff on the show, but overall, when people think of WrestleMania 25, they think of HBK versus The Undertaker, that first go around. Classic, iconic match. And then when they think of the main event with Triple H and Randy Orton, the build-up was great, but the match itself kind of fell flat. We're going to go down memory lane since WrestleMania is literally a few weeks away. Let's go back down memory lane, check out this WrestleMania 25 and how it could have and maybe should have been a classic WrestleMania.
When No Way Out 2009 went off the air, what was already one of the hottest Road to WrestleManias in years got that much hotter. On what was supposed to be just a random B show, everything was flipped turned upside down. From new champions being crowned, to a heist being pulled, to a serial killer adding a new victim to his resume, to even Superman getting embarrassed after a classic Rumble, after a classic No Way Out, the stars were aligning for WrestleMania 25 to be nothing short of a classic. As the weeks went by, the card was shaping up to be special. Cena and Edge were gonna go at it, the Hardy Boys were gonna kill each other in an Extreme Rules match, the Undertaker's 16-0 streak was up against Mr. WrestleMania. That itself made the show must-see, but nothing compared to what was gonna go down in the main event. Randy Orton at this point was carrying the company on his back. He was carrying the entire WrestleMania build on his back, and after No Way Out, just when we thought this monster couldn't be more evil,
so good,
he was about to be featured on America's Most Wanted. Randy by March had already punted Vince, already destroyed Shane, was heading to the main event of WrestleMania, but as a great man once said, it was never enough.
Nope.
Just when you thought this
story my God, nuts, so good.
Does this to Stephanie, resulting in Triple H.
Bro, the build up to this is one of the rare cases where the build up was better than the match. Chef's fucking kiss. Oh my God, this is so good, bro.
Running out to save her, and for the first time ever acknowledging their real-life marriage on television. And just like that, the WrestleMania main event got lit on fire. But what preceded this, let's just say the streets will never forget. See, normally the RKO would have been enough to make this feud hot and justified as the rightful main event of WrestleMania. But why? Why would we stop there? Not this year. Osama bin Orton pulled up to Raw, handcuffed Triple H to the
good
Steph in front of him, and then proceeded to kiss a dead Stephanie.
This is so good. Bro, this was so good, bro. This right here, this is, man, that's peak Randy right there. That's peak Randy Orton right here, bro. The just evil personified was right at this moment. Oh my God.
With Triple H being brought to tears because of Randy Orton. This guy right here was reaching generational levels. This iteration of Randy's character was the most evil, most psychotic character we had seen in a long time, possibly ever. Just casually in a span of 3 months, he took out the entire McMahon family. Where was Linda's old ass at? He was out here kissing Stephanie in front of Triple H while he cried and screamed. Yo, this guy was fucked. This was, for me, the single most shocking ending to Raw I had ever seen. This was up there with the limo explosion because I remember going to school the next day and every single kid was talking about what the hell went down. And it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, wrestling is fake, we know that. But that Randy Orton shit, that shit had to be real. And what made it special for me was I became a huge Randy Orton fan at this time. And maybe that was a red flag. Maybe my she didn't, and here we are. But I was 10 years old, and after seeing this, Randy became my guy. I wanted to be just like Randy Orton. I wanted to get my own sleeve of tattoos done just like him. I wanted to get a buzz cut just like him. I wanted to be dripping in oil. Wait, what? I wanted to be Randy Orton. It was legendary TV, and it's hard to explain how wild it was to see Triple H cry, and then Triple H gets all mad, and he pulls up to Randy's house, him out the window. It was just a beautiful
good
angle.
shit, bro.
And it was fun for me because I had seen this all come to fruition. I was there for a little bit of the Evolution days. I remember the rated RKO days, and I remember buying No Mercy 07, wanting to see Cena versus Orton, and instead, what did I get? I got Orton beating the hell out of Triple H and leaving with the title. I had seen it all, but now this was different. Now everything was full circle. Now in 2009, I was older. And I was Team Randy Orton. I wanted to see Triple H get punted. I wanted to see him cry. I had no sympathy for the McMahons or Triple H. Saddam Orton was my guy, and he literally evolved into the best character we've seen since probably Stone Cold Steve Austin. Randy Orton was about that life, and he was about to reach that status where he could have been the heel of a generation. And it was all leading to WrestleMania 25, the main event. Randy versus Triple H. Somebody was gonna die, and best of all, the villain was gonna win. This was 2009. This was peak villain era. This was months after The Dark Knight had just come out and society fell in love with the Joker. People wanted to see the bad guy win. And Randy Orton, it doesn't get more evil than this. Cena and Edge were probably gonna wrestle, right? Matt versus Jeff, Money in the Bank, Taker versus Shawn, the most hyped up WrestleMania main event in years. The stars were aligning for WrestleMania 25 to be nothing short of a classic. The show begins, and as pyro lights up Reliant Stadium, I gotta say, from the blue to the lighting to the pyro to the stage, what a beautiful WrestleMania this was.
Yes,
and
it
what better
was.
way to start off Mania, but with a Money in the Bank match. Those were the days. And
Good
this
times.
was an awesome Money in the Bank match. These 8 men wanted to prove something on this night. They wanted to prove that they were down to die for the briefcase, and they did exactly that.
Yeah.
Yo, some of the spots in this match were just straight up dangerous. We've had some wild Money in the Bank matches before this, but for some reason on this night, everything just felt a little more crazy and more riskier than usual. I really remember thinking that this would be Christian's night, and this was also the night where, as a young fan, Kofi Kingston went crazy, and he instantly made me a believer. Kofi showed out, Shelton Benjamin once again showed out, and
of course,
this match did confirm, though, that yeah, Shelton was forever sadly going to be a Money in the Bank merchant in the company. This was a great match. The things I would do to get Money in the Bank back at WrestleMania are unforgivable, but sadly, that's never going to happen. CM Punk winning was a genuine surprise.
Yeah.
Going back and looking at predictions from the time, everyone was predicting anyone but Punk to win. People thought MVP might win, Christian, but no one thought CM Punk would go back to back, but he did. Well deserved, great match to open the show, and Punk winning back to back, it's a pretty fun moment. So what a way to start off Mania, and to follow this, what do we get, boys and girls? Do we get lucky and get another good match to get the momentum flowing? I mean, this card was pretty stacked, and no, we get a travesty. 8 men just went crazy to open up WrestleMania? Well, it's time to get the most stupid and most pointless segment and match in WrestleMania history to follow it up. I can't think of anything more stupid that's went down at WrestleMania since then than this. I really can't. Kid Rock pulls up, okay, and decides to perform some songs. And at first, it's fine. He does the typical bow with the bang a dang diggy diggy song. And, you know, we can pretend it's 99 again. It's fine. We're having a good time. But the issue is, he keeps going and going and going. My brothers in Christ, my brothers in whatever. Kid Rock performs for 12 minutes. WrestleMania just started 30. Why the fuck are we getting tortured already? He's there performing his Mickey Mouse songs, and the crowd does not care whatsoever. Nope. They're just there like,
I actually forgot all this happened. I blocked all this out. I forgot this happened.
The Undertaker at. The whole point of this turns out to be a way to have the Divas make their entrance. Yes, for all the Divas to make their entrance for the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. But ladies, before you get to the ring, make sure you twerk on Kid Rock or give him a kiss or something, or else you're fired. So that takes up like 12 minutes of our time. And then just to make things better, we get the most bullshit quick, get in, get out, 5-minute Battle Royal you will ever see in your life. I swear to God, these poor girls were out here I can't even talk, eliminating themselves. And it was just so sad. You had women in this match who hadn't appeared in the company for years just to not get mentioned. No shout outs, commentary is sleeping. Molly Holly hadn't been seen since like 04, and nobody cares.
Nobody cared.
Poor Molly Holly, poor Tori Wilson. And just to show you how much the company respected their women in 09, a man won.
Yeah.
Santina Morella, dressed up as a woman, becomes Santina Morella and wins Miss.
This is what they were doing on the biggest stage of them all. This right here. I'm all down for comedy, especially when it's actually funny. This, to me, was never funny. This was a waste of our time. Just a waste of our time. Some people may have enjoyed it. Cool. Kudos to you. For me, you could have put something else on this. This was not it. This is how much they cared about the ladies. Just want to put that out there.
WrestleMania. Hey, what do I even say? What was the point of this? Why not just have Beth Phoenix win or something?
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that in the McMahon doc on Netflix, Vince didn't come out and like pat himself on the back and talk about how, we were ahead of the curve when it came to gender, they, thems, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Look at our 2009 Miss WrestleMania. Absolutely pathetic. And listen, Santino was hilarious, great performer, but the segment started with a 12-minute Kid Rock concert and ends with Santino Marella winning a women's battle. What are we doing here? Stupidest 20 minutes in WrestleMania. This is up there with Lawler versus Cole, and yes, this whole thing took 20 minutes, but whatever, it's done. Hopefully this doesn't affect any other matches tonight, right? Because that would be a shame. But we get back on track because the next match we get is like the definition of bipolar. So in 2008, the iconic movie The Wrestler came out and the world went crazy, rightfully so. It was a movie about an old washed up wrestler who, despite being a huge star in the 80s, ends up being a broken down man, basically a cripple, who has to wrestle on the indie scene to make ends meet. And well, the company wanted to capitalize off that and had Jericho in his evil 2008-2009 prime go out there and disrespect the legends of the WWE for being just like the wrestler. So the idea at first was for Jericho and Mania first to take on Mickey Rourke. That didn't work out for a bunch of reasons. Then it was for Jericho to take on 3 legends of the past managed by Ric Flair, and it's like, alright, that's kind of cool. It is WrestleMania 25, might as well honor some legends. So Jericho thought, hey, let's bring in Lawler, let's bring in this guy, that guy, but Vince said no. You have to have legends that wrestled at WrestleMania 1. The issue was like 60% of those guys are dead or can't move anymore. Here we were, WrestleMania 25, Jericho versus Superfly Snuka, Roddy Piper, and Ricky Steamboat. And at first, it is just sad. Because Jericho just had the best year of his career. And what's his reward? He's out here wrestling Superfly Snuka, who probably doesn't even remember his own name at this point, let alone what he did in 1983. Snuka and Piper had no reason being this. I am surprised they made it out alive. But what makes this match so memorable and kind of awesome, not awesome, is Ricky Steamboat, a man who hadn't wrestled a match since 1994, goes out there and he goes crazy. When Jericho and Steamboat in the ring together, it's beautiful. It is actually beautiful. 56 years old, hadn't wrestled in 15 years since WCW, and he did his thing. And it was so cool because Jericho growing up, his favorite wrestler, one of his favorite wrestlers, was Steamboat. And despite Snuka and Roddy basically being decrepit, Steamboat and Jericho had 70,000 people going nuts. Steamboat was out here moving like he was 35. Jericho got the win, and somehow the match that started off as the saddest, most depressing WrestleMania match I've seen in a long time.
It definitely picked up.
I was 99% sure we were going to see a cardiac arrest take place. Turned into this, something super memorable and special, and this was so good that the next month, Steamboat and Jericho had a one-on-one match at Backlash. I don't usually rate matches, but this was easily 3 stars, which, listen, when 2 of the 4 wrestlers in the match almost die, 3 stars is a miracle. Great moment and a pretty fun segment. It was then time for Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy in an Extreme Rules match at WrestleMania, a dream.
Yeah, I was actually looking forward to this match. Brother versus brother. The story sells itself. It makes sense to have this at WrestleMania. I wish, the Jimmy versus Jay would have been much better this last year's WrestleMania, but obviously time, constraints kind of messed up their match. They should have had a lot more time. Honestly, the feud should have been built up a lot better. But who doesn't love a brother versus brother story, man?
Rematch, if you can believe it, for people of a certain age, including myself at the time. This one is interesting. This is a match that for a lot of people over the years has been forgettable or whatever, or it fell below expectations. But I can't lie, I always thought this match was pretty good.
I enjoyed this match.
Spent a lot of time setting up spots. They did, and that really hurts it. Did Matt Hardy winning make me depressed and make me want to throw up? Of course it did. It's Matt Hardy. This was pretty good. Maybe it's because I was a Hardy Boys mark. Maybe it's because 2009 Jeff Hardy. Maybe it's because these idiots were pretty reckless. But they did the best they could with what they had. It was violent. Jeff Hardy did this, and the ending still makes my neck hurt to this day. But man, if Jeff somehow kicked out of this, I don't know how, and got up and won the match, the stadium would have gone nuts. I think this match gets too much hate. People online would have you think this was a stinker. Not at all. The main
I don't
problem
think
with
so.
Match was it was actually cut short because something prior went too long. And if only there was something earlier on this show that was completely unnecessary. I hate you, Kid Rock. We then got a 30-second match for the IC title in which JBL loses and retires. It was 30 seconds. You can't really complain about that. It was a good time. At this point, it was a pretty enjoyable WrestleMania, all things considered, and realistically, the fate of the show still laid in the big 3 matches. If they delivered, this WrestleMania would have been perfectly fine, and it would have been a classic. And well, at least we got the greatest WrestleMania match of all time next.
Bruh.
Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels.
Bro, they stole the show. The only match that could have ever lived up, obviously, was, Randy Orton and Triple H because of how personal the feud had gotten. This, right, I'm going to be honest with you. On paper, you would expect this. I did not think going into WrestleMania 25, this was going to be my favorite match. Arguably, I didn't think this was going to be one of my favorite matches of all time. Not just WrestleMania, of all time. I did not think this was going to be the match. I didn't. Like I said, on paper, maybe you should. Maybe that would be the idea. But no, I thought it was going to be the Randy Orton Triple H because I knew they were going to try to kill each other. This, all-time great.
WrestleMania 25, what can I even say that hasn't been said before? In my opinion, the single greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Everything about this was absolutely perfect. Perfect. From the entrances to being total opposites, one coming from up above and all white, so one coming from below and all black, to the moves, to the teases, to the botches. Yes, the botches, to everything else, absolutely perfect. Back in 09 as a kid, I didn't know what this match was going to be like. Like, I was too young to expect a classic. I knew it was going to be a good match, but it wasn't like I was watching this waiting for this to be a classic.
Yeah.
Nah, I was just watching and enjoying, and as time went on and on and on, it just rocked my world and everyone else was watching at the time. What I love about this match, what everyone loves about this match, is everything matters in this match. It wasn't one of those, all right, let's just wrestle for 15 minutes and then we'll do a finisher spam, and then the fans can start cheering and jumping around. No, listen. Choke slams are going to get reversed into cross faces. Shawn's going to try for a super kick. Undertaker was out here doing, when have you ever seen the Undertaker doing roll-ups?
Yeah.
Taker can't hit a choke slam still. Shawn can barely hit a sweet chin music. Everything was so deserved and earned in this match.
So
when
good.
They do start doing the finishers.
And the commentary. Oh my God. I'm just thinking about this match. It gives me goosebumps. JR on commentary. This was perfect. This was fucking perfect.
Taker doesn't just hit a last ride. No, we get like the deadliest last ride ever. It was just so unexpected at the time, especially for a young fan like me. It was unlike any match I'd ever seen at WrestleMania.
Oh my God.
WWE, other than maybe Shawn versus Angle, but I never thought Taker would be in something like this. And because Taker was in it, it just made it more magical. And people now in 2025 would tell you, oh, it's overrated, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, it's not that good.
Whoever says this match is overrated, you smoking some premium crack. You smoking meth. You smoking something that you shouldn't be smoking on. I don't give a damn. Argue with your mama. This is not overrated. It's a fucking certified classic.
No, listen, this is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, and the reason why I love this match more than the one they had the next year at WrestleMania 26, obviously it's a surprise factor, it's the original, but I love how not clean it is. I love that there are botches, that Undertaker almost died diving out of the ring. I love that the moves sometimes don't connect properly or that they had to be earned, and it's like, what was that? It felt real in a sense, not in a sense of danger or like, oh, they're shooting brother, but in a sense of this was just a competition and they were doing everything they could do to win. And in competitions, things don't go smoothly. They can't be picture perfect. It's supposed to be a fight, right? It just felt so authentic. And Jim Ross on the call, the blue lights are on bright, and listen. Shawn been hit with this choke slam, okay? Shawn had been hit with the last ride. So what does Taker do? Shawn tries to skin the cat. Undertaker catches him in the tombstone. Tongue out like Jordan, and what happens?
Oh my God!
HBK
kicks out. Oh my God! It's such a beautiful shot right there. JR losing it. I was losing it. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So fucking good.
HBK kicked out of the tombstone, and we got that legendary call, and Undertaker was just there like, what? My shirt was off in 09. My shirt was off in 2025 rewatching this. That Shawn Michaels kick, it's not hyperbole. It's not a commentary call. It was genuinely an outer body experience.
When he said that I'm having an outer body experience, I'm having it now. This was so good.
What else can you ask for? It doesn't get better than this. And what does Taker do? Right? Well, let's do it again. I hate when wrestlers do a finisher and then they just react for like 20 minutes and then don't try to do it again. No, he instantly goes for it again. There's logic. Taker knows that. Tombstone again, but nah, DDT out of nowhere. And it wasn't clean. But that's what made it better. Taker kicks out of a sweet chin music. I'm beating my chest like Matthew McConaughey. And how does this end? The best way possible.
Yep.
Shawn Michaels goes for a moonsault for the industry, for the business, for his legacy, for his broken back, and Taker catches him in midair, almost drops him, not clean whatsoever.
Beautiful.
Once again, made it even better. Tombstone. 1, 2, 3, 30 minutes later, it was over. This is it, man.
Classic.
Maybe it's a hot take. I think the match they had the next year at 26 is amazing, but I really think that this is on another level and that their 26 match, it's a notch below. I don't think they're equals. This is perfection. The things that I would do to be able to watch this for the first time again, I will never forget watching this. My jaw was on the floor, and as cheesy as it sounds, this match, this is WrestleMania. This is the quintessential WrestleMania match, the greatest Mania match of all time. It doesn't get better than this. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to make sure WrestleMania ends up being a classic. And after that masterpiece, as long as the main event's delivered from here on out, we were golden.
Well,
and although it was going to be tough to follow that, it was then time for John Cena versus Edge for the World Heavyweight Champion. I thought if I just pretended that Cena versus Edge at Mania happened this year, that maybe it actually did. We never got Edge versus Cena at Mania, not in 09, not ever. It was right there. It was Edge versus Cena, world title, WrestleMania, let's go. But why? Why would we get that? Why would we get that? Why would the fans get what they want? Not instead, let's add a 500-pound cheeseburger fiend who for some reason Vicky Guerrero is cheating on Edge with. And before you...
Yeah, they just convoluted this whole thing. This, I think, would have been the perfect follow-up to what we just got, excluding the Big Show. Take him out of it. Edge and John Cena, that's perfect. That's perfect.
You knew it. WrestleMania 25 was blessed with Edge versus Cena versus the Big Show. All right, I've already talked about this match so many times in terms of the disappointment of Big Show being added. So, there's no point of keep going over that over and over again. But the thing is, despite this match having the Big Show added in, right? This was such a letdown regardless. This was just not a WrestleMania co-main event level match. And the sad part is, it could have been. The Big Show hate aside, this was a solid match. I'm not saying it was bad or anything. This was a solid, fine match. But it wasn't WrestleMania world title level. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think it's something that much taking place after Taker versus Shawn, because if anything, a triple threat match is the perfect match to follow up a classic like that, because you have 3 different wrestlers to go in and out doing their thing and keep things fresh and exciting. You can have a lot of fun and a lot of action and keep the crowd awake, but the thing is, they only got 14 minutes, and it just never felt like they kicked into the next gear. This is the type of world title match that you would open WrestleMania with these days. It was just missing something. They only got 14 minutes. They never got to tweak. It just didn't feel like a WrestleMania match, and that's what sucks, because even with the Big Show, this could have been a WrestleMania banger, and it felt like a house show main event. They just played it so safe. But the only thing people remember from this match was the Cena entrance, and of course this. Was it a bad match? Of course not, but this could have been so much better.
I wouldn't say it's a bad match. It's just, in comparison to what we just saw before, prior to, and maybe if you put this match on before the classic with The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, maybe.
This could have been special, and on this night at WrestleMania after Shawn versus Taker, we needed this to deliver. But hey, it was all good because it didn't suck, and as long as the main event of WrestleMania, the most anticipated main event since 05, delivered, this Mania would have still gone down as a classic. 3 solid matches at this point, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. As long as we got a banger main event, it was a wrap, and all we needed for this blood feud was an absolute war. After a wife was RKO'd, a house was broken into, a wife was kissed while she lay there unconscious, a father and brother-in-law were hospitalized, something had to give, somebody was gonna die, somebody was getting hospitalized, nah, screw somebody, Triple H was getting punted, and Randy Orton was gonna proclaim himself as the top dog of the industry, of the company, the most evil character in WWE history, was being cemented at WrestleMania, 5 years in the making. It was time. Randy comes out, main event, WrestleMania 25, looking his absolute best. Triple H gets his yearly $50,000 cosplay entrance. The world is watching after months of build of everything we chronicled. Main event of WrestleMania. There was going to be destruction, violence, mayhem. There's only going to be one man left standing. And best of all, the bad guy, the villain, the evil one was winning. The match starts, and what the fuck was this? Triple H and Randy Orton drop a stinker for these idiots. These, you know what? My bad. Not idiots. These geniuses at the WWE after constructing a masterpiece of a storyline. After all we talked about, after making this a must-see, violent WrestleMania main event, decided to make the stipulation that if Triple H gets counted out or more importantly disqualified, he loses the title. What? Why?
That makes that, to me, that was always one of the things they fucked up on, bro. This should have been, this is personal. I mean, he literally kicked the head off of the fucking chairman. He DDT'd his wife and gave her a kiss. He kicked the head off of his brother-in-law. There should have been no disqualification. Anything goes. Whoever wins this match is your new WWE champion. Simple. It's that you don't have one guy get handicapped and try to tell the story of, oh, he has to control himself. No. Because once you do that, you automatically think, well, there's a good chance Randy's not probably going to win there. Because they're going to tell the story of the babyface have to overcome these crazy odds in this match against this crazy psycho in Randy. Like, once they said that and once that became the stipulation, I was like, oh no. You wanted to see chaos between both guys, bro.
The blue fuck was this match not a no DQ match or a last man standing or
Yes.
a street fight or my
Yes.
mom on a pole match? Why?
Whoa.
It genuinely does not make any. What was wrong with them? You spent months making
Months.
this man, building him as a terrorist. You have him do this to a man's wife. Everyone just wants to see a war, regardless of my bias and who I want to see win. People just want to see violence. No, sorry, you're getting a 23-minute Triple H WrestleMania Classic. Sorry, this is actually inexcusable. The 23-minute bore of 23.
Yeah, crowd
minutes
didn't
of Triple H
care.
Wrestling. What the hell? The whole point of this was to see Triple H kill him or try to kill him. Instead, we're out here doing this. I knew it was cooked when the WrestleMania main event had Randy Orton trying to win the match by count out.
Yeah, count out, bro. The guy that literally was trying to destroy this man's life. He wanted to win by count out. I was like, yeah, they fucked this.
Why? We should have had announce tables being broken, backs being broken, legs being broken, chairs, this, that. No. Instead, Triple H is going to pick up a monitor, but then put it down because, he'll get disqualified. Oh my God.
That's stupid. So dumb.
At this point, they should have done the ending where he does get disqualified and Randy wins. It would have sucked still, but at least it would have been better than this. But it's fine. At least after 21 minutes, we get a ref bump. Oh, wow. Praise the Lord. Now that must mean the referee's down. We're probably going to go crazy now, right? It's finally time for all hell to break loose. The stipulation was probably just there to build up to this and tease us. It's finally time. No, Triple H is the one punting Randy for some reason. What? Hits him with the sledgehammer once. Pedigree 1, 2. Who the hell does Triple H think? This was a disgrace. I totally forgot Triple H punted him.
Yeah.
You should have just hit him with a shovel at this point. All right, forget the hammer. So not only did we get the total opposite of what we wanted in terms of the match, Triple H won. Triple H just had to win. All right, Triple H just had to win. Let's take Randy Orton, make him the best heel of the 2000s, the biggest demon, and then he loses at WrestleMania. This guy won the Rumble, destroyed a whole family, and Triple H just walks in there and wins. Oh no, we need a happy ending for WrestleMania, pal. Oh, we need a happy ending for Mania. Oh, but what about when Triple H at WrestleMania 2001? Then the heel had to win, right? It was fine then, right? This was a disgrace. 23 minutes, wrong winner, wrong match, the most hyped up, well-built WrestleMania main event in so long, and this happens.
Oh my God.
Randy dies.
Yeah.
I hate this so much. I always have, always will. And rewatching this after watching the Rumble, No Way Out, watching the Raws in between, this was generational storytelling.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they just pulled their pants down and just took a piss all over it. Just so Triple H can end WrestleMania on top. Just so the face can win and we get a happy... nobody wants a happy end. The happy ending was Randy winning. I hate how, oh, it's fine. At Backlash, we'll just have Randy win the title. Yeah, in a 6-man tag match for it. Yeah, great. Fantastic. What a great story. This had no reason to be bad. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, this video is titled WrestleMania 25 should have been legendary. Because sadly, it wasn't. To this day, WrestleMania 25 is remembered as a disappointment. And what sucks is, this isn't a bad show.
It's not a bad show either.
This show is way better than I remember it ever being. We talked about it. We reviewed it right now. There's only like 2 bad matches the whole show. They choked. They simply choked. The main event was that bad that for many people, it legitimately ruined the show for the vast majority, and I can't really blame them. And that's sad because I look at this time period so fondly. It was so fun watching every Raw and every SmackDown from January to April. WrestleMania 25 should have been legendary. Instead, it's a show that most people hate. Some consider one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, which I think is a bit much. But it just sucks because, like I said, there's only 2 bad things on this entire show. But when your main event stinks that much and disappoints every single person watching, the whole show's gonna get the stink. It doesn't matter what Shawn and Taker do, and it just leaves the whole situation as what could have been. But you know what? It's okay, WrestleMania 25. I'll ignore the main event, and I'll ignore the concert, and I'll try my best to remember you for what you really was, and that's deep down a really good WrestleMania, a really enjoyable WrestleMania, but a WrestleMania that deserved a better ending.
Yeah, for sure. I got to go ahead and give this a like because this was spot on, man. If you haven't already, go subscribe and make myself disappear. Subscribe to Wrestling Gifts. I have. Go check him out. This was a great video. He was spot on with a lot of his opinions here. Yeah. Classic, iconic match, Undertaker and HBK. Got followed up by matches that did not deliver. Didn't deliver. Stipulations probably should have been changed, especially with that main event. Like I said, going into the show, I was looking forward to the main event more than anything else between Triple H and Randy Orton. I thought that was going to be a murder fest, and we didn't get that. So, hey, comment down below. Let me know, where do you guys rank WrestleMania 25 for those who actually got a chance to watch it live? Or maybe you just end up watching it, rewatching it at a different time if you didn't watch it live. Where do you rank it in, like, say, your maybe top 10, 15, or 20 WrestleManias of all time? Let me know, where would you rank WrestleMania 25 for you? It has some great matches, great moments, but, you know, the main events didn't deliver. The real main event, which is crazy to say, was Undertaker and HBK. They became the main event in wrestling fans' eyes, majority of wrestling fans' eyes. But I appreciate all the love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking with me. See you on the next one. Peace.